What's good, everybody? I'm BPC and welcome to Competitive Origins MMA. Well, Leon Rocky Edwards got back into the Octagon against Belal, remember the name, Muhammad, at UFC Vegas 21. Now, Leon was going in as the number 3 UFC ranked welterweight, while Belal was entering the Octagon as the number 13th ranked individual. Now, both fighters were stepping foot in the Octagon with 18-3 records, but as we all know, these records are not always even, as they always are going to face off against different opponents along the way to getting these records. Now, Leon actually had his last fight July 20th, 2019 against Rafael dos Anjos, in which he scored an impressive decision victory. Now, Belal, on the other hand, has actually won 3 straight times since the last time Leon Rocky Edwards has actually fought, including last month, in which he got a decision victory over Diego Lima. Now, a lot of people are wondering, is Leon going to have some ring rust? But Leon Rocky Edwards stated he does not believe in ring rust, but one thing he does believe in is watching Competitive Origins MMA on a daily basis. And that's why you hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell, so you guys should also do that too. And don't forget to hit the like button on this video. Now, as round number 1 started, Rocky looked pretty loose. He let his hands fly, he was coming forward, and at the same time, Belal looked a little bit hesitant. You know, we expected Belal to actually come forward, but it took a little bit of time for Belal to warm up. I think he wanted to see what Leon was going to start throwing at him, and when they clinched up, Belal unleashed a really nice elbow to the side of Rocky's head off the clinch. Now, as the fight continued, Leon actually accidentally poked Belal in the eye. Now, Belal shook it off and continued on, and then Leon landed a head kick that lacerated the side of Belal's head. Now, the fight continued on, and it looked like Belal was on his bike a little bit. He just wanted to get his wits together, but he didn't look like he was in any serious danger. He actually took the head kick pretty well, you know, but I scored the round in favor of Rocky. See, I thought Rocky was just a little bit more active. I thought his striking array was more diverse, and he definitely was landing the cleaner shots. Now, as round number 2 started, round number 2 ended just as quick because there was another accidental eye poke, and of course, it came from Leon Rocky Edwards. Apparently, he was trying to shield Belal's face as he was going to throw a kick, and the better solution probably would have been to throw a punch and then go for the kick. But as he did, he used his hands, and his finger went right just underneath the eyeball of Belal. It cut the skin, and then the finger went into the eye. He was obviously in serious pain. There was no acting whatsoever. He was screaming, he was crying, and I think it was just all because of a whole bunch of emotions he had built up in there. You know, the doctor asked him, you know, how's your vision? And he said, I can't see out of the eye. And I understand why he was screaming and crying now, because he probably, with the emotions, saw this was his opportunity to go from number 13 all the way up to number 3 and be in contention for a title shot within the next year. And now those dreams look like they're being, you know, wiped away. Now, as far as the fight went, you know, they ruled it a no contest. And when they asked Leon after the fight, you know, he stated he's not interested in the rematch. You know, they even asked him about Colby Covington, and he said he's not interested in that fight either. He actually just wants to fight a title. He feels he's put in the work. He has an 8-fight win streak, and, you know, anybody that has a higher streak than him would be like GSP or Kamaru Usman, and obviously those individuals got to fight for the title or have the championship belt. So he's stating that he wants to be in that situation where he finally gets the opportunity to fight for the championship belt. Now, Belal Muhammad has stated that he wants the rematch, and it's understandable. This was his opportunity, and it wasn't his fault that the fight didn't get to continue on. You know, obviously it was an accidental eye poke, and he wasn't able to continue. And, you know, does that mean his hope should be thrown to the side, you know? So we're not quite sure yet if the UFC is going to honor his request and do the rematch, but it looks like the other party in hand does not want that at all. Now, Dana White did state if he was to get an impressive win, he would be fighting for the UFC title. But as Belal reminded everybody, you want to fight for the title, but you just had a no contest. There's no way you're going to fight for the title. And he definitely has a good point when you think about what he said and what Dana White is stating. So we're not quite sure where this leaves Leon Rocky Edwards. Now, in the post-fight, show, they actually talked about it, and Michael Chiesa talked about how a lot of these different fighters are training with boxing gloves, and therefore they don't have to worry about their fingers being out, and thus this is probably what led to the eye poke. Now, as we know, Rocky's been in, training for quite some time now. He says he's been staying active training, so that could be the reason why this eye poke did happen, because he hasn't been using MMA gloves while training. This is all a suggestion. I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen his training footage, but I'm just going off of what I saw in the Octagon and what Michael Chiesa might have suggested, and it obviously makes sense. And maybe it might be time for the UFC to start bringing out some new gloves, maybe some gloves that kind of curl your hand and you have to stretch them out a lot more and put a lot more work into it in order to open them up. This is merely just a suggestion, but it is a good suggestion because there's no reason for these eye pokes at the end of the day. Now, in regards to Leon Rocky Edwards, he wants to fight for the title. Kamaru Usman's team thinks that Jorge Gamebred Masvidal might be pricing himself out of the title fight. So there's obviously a possibility that Dana might just say, hey, Jorge, either you take what we're offering you or we're going to throw Leon into the fight. This wouldn't be the first time that the UFC has done that. So there's definitely a possibility. Go to the comment section below and let me know where you think these two individuals are going to go career-wise. Do you think Belal is going to get the rematch that he's looking for? Do you think Leon is going to get the fight for the title? Or do you just quite see Leon fighting somebody else at the end of the day, somebody a little bit higher ranked? Or do you see Leon just sitting out and waiting and waiting and waiting? As history has shown us, he is a very patient individual and he has no problem sitting on the sideline waiting for his opportunity, but I think he waits just a little bit too long, if you know what I mean. Go to competitiveorigins.com, type in promo code MMA95 so you can get this Competitive Origins Just an Obstacle t-shirt. Thank you for tuning in today, guys. I'm BPC, and remember, you've been competing since conception. Whether you're competing against yourself or others, Competitive Origins.